I haven't been feeling well and that's why I used a text-to-speech program. This piece is about feeling lost in this overcrowded world. A lot of people like me often feel isolated from those around us because we feel we're not good enough for friendship. This can be worse than such people telling us we should look elsewhere for any chance for company. The sudden silence when you enter the room can be very upsetting, like you did something wrong by just existing and no one will tell you what happened. I used the source material once before and remember that people said that the poem was on the dark side and I wondered if I could recapture that magic. By only using the song and album titles, more options can find their way into my words. This reminded me of how there are countless ways to write new music with different notes, tempos, and instruments to provide a way for others to express themselves. Without further ado, I turn over this show to my friend Phantom Pepper who loves to read my darker stories. Please enjoy our presentation.
Please protect them. At some point where we've felt like the new kid in town and no one wants to give us a chance to show others who we are and how long it's been to feel welcomed in a strange, new place for a fresh start after the old life went rotten in the city with immense buildings that felt like a prison, so no one could think to take it easy and find some peace when not bound by the many unfair rules of the workplace. Countless people wish there was a large hole in the world where they could throw away all their issues to feel free from life, but there isn't enough space or time to provide relief, and after the thrill is gone, despair comes back with a vengeance to destroy whatever peaceful, easy feeling that so many need for coping in the ever-changing world where trying to survive is the only means to keep from going insane. Some people don't like to ask for help because it seems like the last resort, because it means we couldn't handle the chaos that spreads from not enough empathy, and life in the fast lane leads to a lot of huge accidents that many hope somebody else will clean up so others can come up with new ways to harm those around them and expect us not to care because the visions of the future have become obscured. Sadly, most of us are sad at the best of times because life get in the way of happiness, because with too many satisfy long term, even more get left behind with any attempts to smile longer being wasted time once things come crashing down, like we're required to take the devil over salvation to prevent further trouble with those who stole some joy from the paradise garden to leave others waiting in the weeds. Maybe on some weird level, we cling to the idea that love will keep us alive by holding on to something special that no one can take away because we have the power to take it to the limit society forces upon us to keep us in line. However, one of these nights we could go to bed and not worry about the night's power making us restless, and to hear a voice say, "This is your world now and it needs your help to heal." Even after many years of thinking, I can't tell you why people like me have to suffer so much before any form of help comes along, because the heartache tonight is just a continuation of what happened long ago, with changes of strength and most of the population telling me to get over it despite knowing nothing about my past, with any chances for me to be happy are already gone and replaced with tears. One thing I've seen is that those in power have a really frail grasp on the picture of anyone hoping for a little time where things don't hurt from being without support. It takes a certain kind of fool to keep the misery alive because they can't stand others being the center of the universe, and I feel horrible in such conditions because many once saw me as prey, like I was guilty of the crime for being different. My world isn't perfect, and after a hard day, I don't want to hear any more words of wisdom when the delight of silence is preferred, and if I have to do something to find some solace, it has to be whatever keeps me away from those who don't have a clue to my suffering, because what do I do with my heart when the best of my love falls on deaf ears and hardened hearts, showing I'm not worthy to be loved? All I can do is use my words to give my feelings a different form on the journey of the sorcerer, making magic to ironically dispel the old memories of feeling unwanted that have gone out of control amongst my dreams that are on the border of fantasy and misery that make me feel hollow for not having many new memories to remove me from my lonely table in the sad cafe and back into the light of happiness. If I asked you to think of anyone lost in life, I bet too many hands would be in the air to show the big failure of society to keep people like me from feeling like we never belonged, and in the long run, each battle in the future will be full of sorrow. Yet it's not impossible to have a good day in hell if we learn about those who are also suffering, and while I've been in those shoes, I can still walk on to tomorrow. To everyone who discovered my peace, no, you are not alone in this crazy world, and there will always be times when life isn't ideal, yet if we still have the strength to try and love again, it means we haven't given up the fight. And while I can't promise you no more cloudy days, there will be blue patches and silver linings to inspire hope, so no matter where you go next, I wish you peace and always be yourself.
See what I meant about being dark? Sometimes even happy discographies can lead to darker poems to provide some contrast or make it harder for people to discover the source material. With so many iconic songs to bring back happy memories, it's interesting to use the darkness to provide a little mystery with songs with generic and lesser-known titles. For those who were stumped, the source material was from the Eagles. I've listened to them for many years, often while driving around the mountains. One song that gives me a strange peace is Hole in the World because it still speaks today about the struggles of life. The soft melody can hold back the tears from a bad day or give us an odd reason to smile by admitting life sucks. I hope everyone enjoyed this piece. If you know someone that needs a boost, please share this poem with them and remind them they are still loved by good people. Even if your circle isn't very large, it's better to have it filled with those few who make you feel safe instead of numerous false friends who barely know your name unless it benefits them. We all need people to keep us strong, and they need us to do the same in dark times. Perhaps sharing the pain is what can start the healing, because once we learn others are suffering, we don't feel as bad for not being at our best. Take care, everyone.